the Department of Community and Economic Development.
I will second the motion. All those in favor of approving the Home American Rescue Plan Grant Agreement with the Department of Community and Economic Development do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
All right.
Great, thanks, Faith.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then I think Julia's probably in the, are we calling it the green room or the library?
We call it the green
The green room.
today.
Okay.
Yeah. So good morning.
Morning.
I'm here before you with a letter of agreement with Bowers All About Kids LLC to provide services including eval occupation therapy, home and in the community, eval physical therapy, home and in the community, eval special instruction in the home and community, and eval speech pathology in the home and community. Contract total is $35,000, with the state share being $31,500 and the county's match being $3,500. And this is for July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
Yeah, we'd like to thank Bowers All About Kids. I'm assuming, based on the name, this is primarily early intervention.
It's all early intervention,
For small
yes.
children, some of our best spend for human services dollars.
Yes,
If we
yes.
can work with a child when they're, a year and a half, 2, 3 years old, on speech therapy, they'll probably be okay.
Yeah.
If you delay that even a couple of years, it's very, very difficult to get the therapy to stick.
Yeah, their referrals are at all-time high, and so
Wow.
these partnerships are very valuable to early intervention.
Okay.
Wonderful. Commissioner Concepcion.
No, good to know. Thank you.
All
I'll
right.
move to add the letter of agreement with Bowers All About Kids LLC to next week's consent agenda.
I will second the motion. All in favor of adding the letter of agreement with Bowers All About Kids LLC to next week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Great. Thanks, Julia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do have a consent agenda,
Mm-hmm.
kind of medium-sized.
I'll move to approve this week's consent agenda.
I will second the motion. All those in favor of approving this week's consent agenda, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And John has a CNET item today.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners. Before you for consideration is the sponsorship of a CNET broadcasting of the Constitution Day Center, Inc.'s Making Our Voices Heard Roundtable event, which is slated for Saturday, September 20th, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the Delta School.
Great. Those are usually very fun, lots of interesting discussion.
Yeah, Constitution Day is a good event, so. I will move to approve the CNET sponsorship of Constitution Day Center, Inc.'s Making Our Voices Heard Roundtable event.
I will second the motion. All those in favor of approving the CNET sponsorship for Constitution Day Center, Inc.'s Making Our Voices Heard Roundtable event, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And assuming we have a check run today.
We do have a relatively small check run, but one of the checks that I'd like to recognize on the check run is to Skills of Central Pennsylvania. They're an important partner in working with our residents who have intellectual disabilities and helping them with job skills. And with that, I would move that we approve the check run dated July 3rd, 2025.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor of approving the check run dated July 3rd, 2025, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Do you have an administrator's report today, John? We got a quick meeting going.
I'm sorry.
don't? Okay.
The second quarter report will be coming out soon.
Yeah, it's kind of a tight deadline.
Yeah, we just ended the second quarter, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to reports and announcements, Commissioner Concepcion, looks like you do have.
I do have a voter registrar
All
report.
right.
So our total voters on the report this week is 101,618. That's down 91 from last week. Of those, Democratic voters comprise 41,252, Green Party 160, Libertarian 558, those with no affiliation 15,583, and Republican voters come in at 42,050 voters. All of the other minor parties comprise 2,015 voters, bringing us to that total of 101,618. Our precinct of the week that we're going to recognize today is Milesburg Borough. This is Precinct 8. There are 622 registered voters. They had a voter turnout of 29% at the May primary election. The Precinct 8 votes at the Milesburg Community Center at 101 Mill Street in Milesburg, and we'd like to thank the Community Center for the use of their space for elections.
Great.
It's a voter
Thanks.
report.
Thanks, Commissioner Concepcion. John, do we have any executive sessions to report or hold?
None to hold right at this moment. However, there is one to report. The board met on July 1st from 11:47 a.m. to 12:20 p.m. to discuss a legal matter.
Great, thanks for reporting that, John. Our public meeting schedule on Thursday, the 10th, we have the combined salary board and board of commissioners meeting. And then on Tuesday, the 15th, we have the board of commissioners meeting at 10. And of course, we're now heading into Arts Festival week here in Center County. I think Children's Day is usually Wednesday, and most of and I think the People's Arts Fest will kick in on Thursday, and then on Friday, Art in the Trees kicks in as well. It's a crazy multiple hundred artists at 3 different locations, but it's a really good time. So hopefully the weather will hold out and everybody will have a great Arts Fest weekend. Any questions from the press?
Going back to the home art grants for mental health and other things like that, how important is it to secure this funding to help people in need?
I'll kick it off, but maybe Commissioner Concepcion would like to add some extra items. Generally, if somebody is ending up homeless or having extreme difficulty finding an apartment, there's usually some aspect of mental health or addiction mixed in there somewhere as well. And unfortunately, I think here in Center County, more than half of homeless people actually have jobs. So in a lot of cases, they earn more money than is to be eligible for benefits. So they have an addiction issue, they have a mental health issue, but they work, but their job doesn't provide health care. So these funding, especially because it's flexible, allows our human service agencies to offer the services that people need so that they can find permanent residences. But I'll hand it over to Commissioner Concepcion for additional detail.
Yeah, I think we're seeing housing insecurity as an increasing concern here in this region with the, robust housing market. The downside of that is when housing prices are relatively high, it's harder for folks who are, maybe, below the median income in the area to be able to afford housing. So housing insecurity just continues to be something we're keeping an eye on. And the idea of being able to provide financial assistance, rental assistance for people who may be kind of on the edge of is pretty critical. So we're, fortunate to have this grant. And as Faith Ryan had mentioned, the ESG grant that we highlighted last week at the meeting too as well.
I did see an article recently, I think it was from another state, where more than half of the people who did receive grants or services of this general type were able to stay in an apartment or a rental unit once the assistance was provided. So it is pretty successful.
And then I know it's just a holiday weekend,
Yeah.
but anything from the DOC yet?
Haven't heard anything, no.
No.
Good question. All right. Unless there's anything else for the good of the order, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor of adjourning at 10:23 do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.